Hello, my name is Nathan Peterson and I am a licensed clinical social worker. Today, we're going to go through symmetry OCD, how it works, and what the treatment is. Before we jump into that, make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'm posting videos every single week on different mental health issues that are going to be super helpful for you. So you've probably heard of symmetry OCD in some form or another. This is what's portrayed on TV a lot of the time, where you know some character in the movie has OCD, so you just kind of assume, well, they must be ordering things in a certain way or things must be right. This is essentially what symmetry OCD is, but it's one subtype of OCD and there are so many others. Individuals who suffer with symmetry OCD will often be very distressed and anxious and become fixated on positioning things a certain way. They must arrange objects in a certain way, in a certain order sometimes. If it's not aligned correctly, their brain will somehow tell them that it is incomplete. Where I see this happen often is where an individual will struggle with their own writing, whether it's the type of words they are writing, the type of letters, the shapes of them, the positioning, they're not right on that line exactly how they need to be, or that A that I created isn't perfectly circle, so I must either destroy it, throw it away, mark it up so that I can't see it anymore, erase it. To them, it may look undesirable. It may look like it's not complete. Something is wrong. So they need to fix the problem. Their brain says all you need to do to fix the problem is just throw that piece of paper away and start again. Or erase that letter and write it again. But if it doesn't feel right, just erase it again and do it again. Individuals can get stuck looking at that piece of paper over and over and over again, just looking at that specific line and be like, oh man, every single letter is there except for this one is a little bit lower. So it's kind of an all or nothing type of deal. I gotta actually get rid of the whole thing and start all the way over. Something that is important to know is that symmetry OCD is often missed by parents. It seems that this would be obvious enough for parents to recognize, but I often find that symmetry OCD, the individuals who struggle with this, can keep it hidden. They can do these behaviors so quickly sometimes that nobody knows but them. It could be a slight movement to just balance their body because something doesn't feel right symmetry-wise in their body. They may do small gestures such as tap, where I had to get something off on this shoulder and so I've got to make it right and I've got to do it on the other shoulder just to even it out. But how's a parent going to recognize that? Because that's just kind of a natural little behavior, right? Unfortunately, often I see when an individual finally comes into my office or a parent will bring somebody in, it's after years of these behaviors happening, where they've been evening out in some way or another, they've been erasing, they haven't been able to finish their tests or assignments, they've quickly just balanced the way that they walk, the way that their toes are, the way that their fingers grab the pencil, whatever it might be. They've done this for so long that it's difficult for their brain to actually learn something different. They've been doing it because they want to relieve this anxiety or stress or discomfort, whatever that feeling is that they have within them. When it comes to symmetry OCD, this is one of those things where I see more children than adults. Often it seems like symmetry OCD is more diagnosed at a younger age. Obviously adults can have this, but it's something to be aware of. It might be one of those first OCD topics that somebody might experience. And as I mentioned, individuals can feel intense anxiety if they do not follow through with the behavior of like evening out their shoulder, or they crack their neck this way, they need to crack it the other way, or they need to rewrite that thing, or they need to actually place their stuffed animals in a certain way. Sometimes what these individuals may believe is that their preoccupation towards arranging things a certain way is absolutely the thing they must do. They feel like sometimes it's logical, sometimes it's appropriate. That's just what you do. If you have things on your desk and you feel great when your pencil's right here and your water bottle's right here and your paper's right here, and that's just how it's supposed to be, then that's how it's supposed to be. And if it's not that way, then you may feel anxious or distressed. So yeah, it's logical to make it that way. Some common obsessions that I see with symmetry OCD are these. Individuals will spend a lot of time arranging pillows, arranging their bed, arranging their stuffed animals, arranging their pencils, arranging their homework a certain way before they even start it. Some may have a really difficult time using a computer and actually typing because their fingers, it's almost like, symmetry. So this finger goes here and this finger's got to go here, but what if this isn't the next letter? They're going to get stuck. So this is a really difficult process for a lot of individuals. They may arrange and rearrange books It can even be things on their body that they're paying attention to, that like if my left shoulder tends to be a little bit higher than my right shoulder, I'm gonna focus a lot on bringing my left shoulder down so that my right shoulder comes a little bit up, but then, I look at my body and make sure that I'm symmetrically correct. Some individuals may spend a lot of time focusing on the pressure they put as they are walking. That equal pressure needs to go on every single foot step. Their backpack must be the exact same pressure on both sides. And this isn't just a little quirky thing that's like, okay, yeah, everyone would like things to be a certain way. This person feels immense amount of anxiety if they do not accomplish this task. And like I said, sometimes it feels logical to them that they must do it. So of course they're gonna follow through. Over time, when it starts interfering in the person's life, that's when I see that they wanna start actually seeking treatment, because I'm getting stuck rearranging this thing before I can leave the house. And I'm missing appointments, I'm missing school, I'm not doing my homework. When it's just a quick thing that they can do, like flip the light switch one time and then flip it the other way, well, it's like half a second, 1 second. That's not too intrusive in their life, but they have to do it every single time, every single room that they go into. There's gonna be a problem over time. A lot of the compulsions are pretty obvious. The compulsions are fix it. If it doesn't feel right, if the symmetry doesn't look correctly, if it's not equal, if the letter looks funny, fix it. That tends to be the compulsion. Sometimes it's asking for reassurance from a friend, from a parent, from a loved one to say, hey, how does this letter look? I wrote this a few times. Does this look all right? There also is an OCD topic called Just Right OCD, and I see a lot of overlap when it comes to this, because when I'm arranging things in a certain way, it reduces my anxiety. But at the same time, I kind of do feel that just right feeling that comes along with it, and it says, you did it. Good job. Do it this way again. It's a feeling inside that a lot of individuals have a hard time describing. So they've come up with just right. It feels all right. The way I did it is right. Some other compulsions would be not only just changing certain letters because they don't look right, but if there are 10 words in this sentence, then the next sentence must have 10 words as well, and I've got to follow that trend down the line. If one paragraph has 4 sentences, I must make sure the next paragraph has 4 sentences. Some individuals may spend a lot of time rearranging their clothes, make sure they're in a certain color, make sure they're a certain length, make sure all the dresses are here, and all the shirts are here, and all the pants are here. Sometimes there's a lot of avoidance that comes along with this, that if I don't even touch that whatsoever, I don't have to deal with it. I don't have to touch it. I don't have to rearrange it. If I don't even do my homework, then man, figured it out. Don't have to do it. If I don't touch that light switch, I don't have to touch it again. And as I mentioned, there's a lot of evening up, which means that I've got to do one thing that I did on this hand to the other hand, or with my feet, such as tapping or touching or hugging, or the pressure that I have on the bottom of my feet, or the way that I said something, or even the way that I smile. Some individuals may look down at all times when they're walking to make sure that they don't step on a crack, because if they do, they need to step on the next crack and the next crack or the next crack. But most of the time, they just want to avoid the cracks altogether because it's not right to do that. Some individuals in my office may look at the ceiling and they may count. I've got 4 tiles right here and 4 tiles right here, but this one has 5 tiles. Why does that one have 5 tiles? But it's not something they can control. It's not something they can fix. So there may be a lot of anxiety because the person is mulling over, how can I fix this problem? Sometimes I see an overlap with magical thinking OCD, which is, if I don't fix this, if I don't arrange this in a certain order, something bad is going to happen. Something bad could happen to my mom, to my dad, could happen to a friend, could happen to myself. But sometimes I don't even know what that bad thing is, but I know I don't want to risk it. So I'm going to take the steps I need to arrange this in a certain way, and if I do it, I don't have to worry about anything bad happening. Individuals can feel very responsible for other people's lives or their safety. And they may be doing these behaviors to make sure that other people are okay. Sometimes there's a body dysmorphic disorder overlap with this as well. When somebody is preoccupied with how their body looks and the way that things are, if they're thinking about this eye is a little bit higher than this one, and they're really mulling over and trying to figure out how to make it better, and they're like standing this way to make sure that people can see that their eyes are in a certain direction, and they're spending so much time and are so preoccupied with the way that their body looks, certain body parts, and trying to always fix that. This actually may be body dysmorphic disorder. So more than it just being kind of this symmetry deal, it's all related to the body. We don't tend to see this in other places. This nostril is bigger than this nostril. How am I going to fix that? Individuals may look for surgery. They may spend time practicing breathing out of their left nostril to make it a little bit bigger. So both of them can be equal, but this is a task they've got to do again and again and again and again and again and again, and they're questioning and they're wondering what other people are thinking or seeing. So it's good to see the difference between all of these. So what's the treatment? The treatment is called exposure and response prevention. Our goal is to allow somebody to actually feel uncomfortable on purpose and be okay with that uncomfortable feeling. That if somebody is worried that the letters that they write on a piece of paper are not going to be correct or they're going to look funny, then we're going to either purposely just write it the way that they normally would write it and see what happens. And when they feel that urge or that sensation, boom, and they really want to fix it, we're just going to keep writing. Or we're going to write that same letter or that same word that caused that distress in the first place. We're going to write it over and over and over. And over time, we might actually make it worse. So that A that you wrote or that P that you wrote that you really want to fix, let's actually mimic that. Let's actually write that letter the same way that you just wrote it, the incorrect way in your brain. And let's do it again and again and again and again and again. And we want to pay attention to that distress or that anxiety. And let's say, let's just keep going until this possibly goes down by half, or that you're just getting really bored. But overall, we just want to teach your brain something different. It says you have to do it. It's the only way to feel better. And you're saying, we'll see. Let's test the theory out. Is it the only way for me to feel better? I don't know. Let's try this way and see what happens. That typically this distress actually starts decreasing. The individual feels better. So we mess up a lot of things on purpose. I'll create a whole separate treatment video for this, so make sure you subscribe to that so you don't miss it. But tell me, do you have symmetry OCD? Is this something you've struggled with in the past? What things have worked for you and what hasn't worked? Thank you so much for watching, and remember, seek uncertainty. Hello, my name is Nathan Peterson and I am I'm a lisp. Sometimes these individuals will think that the what? But no, this person feels extreme and immense amounts. When it's just a quirky, no, that's not the word. If there are 10,